Welcome back. This is a pre-recorded show I was going to do for tonight, because I have nothing to really do tonight other than do the channel. This has got to be done because tomorrow I have to do truck repairs. That's on my agenda for the last day of my Thanksgiving vacation. I hope you guys have all had a great weekend. Let's get back into the news. We're going to deal with a topic that is brought up by Max Keiser on the Keiser Report, RT Television. You want to check that out? RT Television is mostly or wholly funded by the Russian government. So take it for what it is. But Max Keiser has always been right about a lot of the things that I've enjoyed. One thing was Bitcoin. He was the guy from the very beginning saying Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. He was exactly right. Anyway, so let's get into it. So Max Keiser today was talking about the fact that the upper 1%, 1+%, has made 7 times their wealth in the past 18 months. Think about that for a minute. 7 times their wealth. The richest families in the world, the richest people in the world, have increased their wealth 7-fold. It's not 7%. So we as the public, as a debt dollar, owner, we all have to step back and say, okay, Biden, build back better, Bill. Biden's build back monstrosity he's trying to push on the people. Why there's distractions over here. Distraction. The greatest distraction just happened. The hugest distraction just happened. We just talked about in the last video. I can't even say it. I don't know if I'm going to get kicked for talking about it. But that would be the ultimate winner for distracting the populations of America to get a $1.7 trillion monstrosity to increase the wealth, to fund activists, to get more IRS agents out into the public that examine everything you do. Imagine that's going to really be tough on all of us taxpayers that are already paying $400 or $500 a paycheck and paying capital gains on all of our overtime. But these people at the top, these are the rich of the rich, have made more money off the pandemic fake fiat currency printing by Janet Yellen, by the Build Back Better bills, by the Democrats and the Republicans. It's sickening. We are experiencing non-transitory, solid inflation. We are in the middle of it. This is it. This is what causes this. The sad thing is, a lot of people sit back and say, hey, I'm making more money on Social Security. I'm making more money on this. Okay, well, you're making more money, but the value of the currency has fallen. It will continue to fall. But these guys had to make sure they hedged themselves up for inflationary periods because they knew that the spending, the printing off free money, and the handing out of free fiat currencies was going to only go back to them. So what Max Keiser is talking about, you have the upper 1%, and then you have, or 1+%, then you have the 9%, which is your hedge fund owners, your major investors. These guys are the ones that are the movers and the shakers in the investment industry. These are the guys that are making extraordinary amounts of wealth off the pandemic dollars, the debt dollars that's been printed. Let's get the banks a bunch of fake fiat currency. Janet Yellen's printing off money to buy back everything to keep things going. Now, we look at the stock market since this one huge distraction has been put upon the public just in the past 2 days that broke out on Thanksgiving Day was the announcement. The following day, we had a 900 point drop in the stock market. Now, you got to remember, the Jamie Dimons and the other kleptocrats at the top that run governments are sending a signal. This, in my understanding of this whole situation, is that was a 900 point drop signal to say we need that Build Back Better bill. You need to be giving us more money because, lo and behold, they're invested in all the green energies. Imagine that. They're going to make a huge amount of money off this 1.7, possibly up to $4 trillion gouging of the American people and the future of America, which is in turn going to cause increased inflation. So those you guys on the Biden side that are like, we've got to do this to save the planet, we've got to do this to save the world, read what's in the bill. Just try to, because even your representatives that you love so much have absolutely very little idea unless they put the pork in it. This is a massive Ponzi scheme. This is a huge debt dollar dump into their hands that's going to be paid for by you, the taxpayer. because corporations don't pay those prices. You pay it. Investors make the money off they make the profits. The investors make all the money. The corporations have to pay out to the employee more money. They have to pay out more for goods and services, but it's the investors that are in the corporation that make the huge amounts of money, the sickly amounts of money. The same with you look at the properties and the price of rentals or the price of houses. Don't think for a second that there's not massive major investments by the kleptocrats into all these real estate deals. It's all over the country. That's why you're paying more, because they're increasing. It's all net profits. And people can sit back and say, well, we have free market. And as I just talked about in Kaiser report, absolutely not. That price discovery was gone out the window with fake fiat currency. We no longer have the capitalist society. We have a society that they make the interest rates. They decide, they throw a tantrum, the Fed lowers the rates. They throw a tantrum, pardon me, they throw a tantrum, they start to crash markets. The first thing that Janet Yellen does is print off trillions of dollars. This is a strangulation of the mechanism of capitalism. It's no longer what it was. They have made so much money and caused so much strife by throwing. We got to throw everything at these people. We paid the airlines. We paid, the cruise liners. We bailed out corporations. We bailed out so much. We bailed out people. We bailed out people that didn't even have a job that was over $9 an hour. We bailed them out with a huge amount of kleptocratic fake debt dollars. But that kept the population dancing while they made all the money. The upper 1% made all the money. It's a huge scam. Huge. Orchestrated in ways that none of us, very few of us, could actually understand. It was orchestrated that well. This isn't the end of this. The inflationary period, 30% inflation, 31%, the highest inflation in 31 years. They're saying 20% inflation. They're saying 0.6% or 6% inflation. They're never right when it comes to that inflation percentage. Most of us have experienced over 200% inflation since the early 2000s. That goes from a vehicle to tires to food to the price of beef. It's tripled. Everything we bought has tripled. But our wages have not tripled. So whether or not we drive around these nice cars now, we're able to get these loans for these extraordinarily sick-priced items at a lower interest rate, all that's doing is hurting us as a whole, because the mechanism is made for them and not us. That's just cannon fodder. That's why when you look at global markets and you say, oh, they're all crashing because of the new COVID variant, they really don't care about that. They care about the trillions in fake dollars that they've become accustomed to in the past 18 months. I mean, you can't 7 times their previous wealth. If anybody out there doesn't see that they are responsible for this, they're running our governments, they're running our Federal Reserves, they're running our banks, and they want their money. It's a sick, twisted lie that we're living as a society. They say, oh yeah, Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff and all those guys, they know what they're doing. We need to instill communism. We got to have more for the people. It's not about Bernie Sanders. It's not about, what they're going to do to make it better for us. The last thing they care about is you or your cause or anything else. It's about them making 7 times the profits. People are living in people's houses, renting a room for $500 to go buy a stupid brand new truck, to drive it around and sit in a line at a car wash, because that's their life now. Those that did get into a house, was lucky enough prior to this kleptocracy, are sitting there. They don't even know where they're going to be in a couple of years, because they took away the individual individual buying of a home for a vast portion of the population, or just even an apartment for a couple, instilled chaos inside that the generations coming up. Oh, I don't know if I want to be married. I don't have kids. I'm gonna, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm, part of this. And so they've caused a strife among the people, so they don't want to go get married and have kids. They'll live in an apartment with 16 other people, park down the road, clog every road with cars along every side street just to find a place to park, because everybody's living in the new government housing, which is renting a bedroom because they can't afford to even rent an apartment on the wages they're making. Meanwhile, they're laughing because they took that section of money that would have normally been into a house or apartment for a large section of the population, especially young, and they just stole it. There's like, oh well, we'll just go ahead and increase transitory inflation and see how long these idiots buy that. And there was a large pool of idiots that were, for Brandon, that decided that this was going to be the best thing ever because they're going to get some kind of better, save the environment, stop fossil fuels. Meanwhile, they were stealing all the money and crashing the currency. That's what they did. They use you. They use your strife, burn down the buildings, because now you're supporting the government and the kleptocrats at the top. You weren't burning down a city in Oregon, Washington, having, Chaz. Where did Chaz get you? It's all a distraction. Orange Man bad. It's all a distraction. They wanted to make and orchestrate the largest theft in human history. And they did. You can't increase your wealth 7 times unless you invest it in something that's going to give you that amount of money. And the only way these guys can make that amount of money, because they already own the wealth of the world, was to print off more of your money or to take away your quality of life to put it in their hands. See how that rolls? Because they're investing in all the garbage. America sold off during the Clinton administration its manufacturing. America during the Clinton administration, when they opened up NAFTA, I was there during Coleman when they were moving, backpacks and all that out of the country to be manufactured outside of the United States. Instead of paying more and keeping good high-paying jobs here, we started shipping manufacturing companies overseas or into Mexico, to get more profit for them. That was what it was all about. Cheaper labor. You wanted to buy cheap stuff. We all want to buy cheaper stuff. We want cheap big box stores everywhere making cheaper stuff. Well, they had to move them overseas to take away your jobs. Now we can't even produce surgical masks during a pandemic to keep up with it. Or medications, just to say medications. We can't even do that. We don't have the infrastructure anymore. We lost it. We sold it. We became a nation of consumers. Well, now you have to have triple the wage to keep up with the transitory inflation that's not transitory. Why they keep printing more money off that you owe for. And even if they do take it from them, they're going to make you pay for it. Your quality of life's going to drop. But you'll get all the neat stuff. Get yourself a debt buying a razor. You'll buy, I'll buy this new trailer. I'm going to buy this construction. I'm making a ton of money. When it's all, in the end, your debt. Your future debt that they're profiting off of. It's like the Roaring 20s and then the Great Depression. Same type of thing. Same scenario. That's what Max Kaiser was talking about. The mechanisms of finances, the mechanisms of capitalism should work properly. So the inflation should be, inflationary periods should slow down the frivolous spending and hopefully get the rich of the rich kind of under control so they don't continue to do what we see now. They're just letting it flow. They're just like, okay, we'll just crash and you'll give us. You crash and we'll give it. You're just going to give it. But that's gone. That's gone in American society. There's really no way to fix this issue now. They've gone too far. The debt's too big. The only thing they can really do right now is to take the Build Back Better bill and stuff it so far up the Democratic insanity backside that it comes out the other end, because they're just not thinking about you. They've gotten an entire second of the population thinking that they care about them, and that's the ultimate sacrifice of a large group of America. They're under this perception that there's some leader that's going to come in and save them, when the world has sold them down the river. It's like, they're giving you the flashy stuff. They're allowing you to do what you could do. They're giving out free money constantly, but it's all going back to them. It's never for you. I mean, we have to put the brakes on this. And I don't even know how we could do this except for a natural, this is going to be awe-inspiring economic crash, which in the end would benefit them because they've already increased their wealth sevenfold. They have the money. There's some people, individuals rich enough that they could basically, like they said, Elon Musk was like, I don't have that much money. You can solve poverty with your wealth. And he says, I'll give it away if that's the case. I don't think it's that drastic. I think that the upper 1% out of 4 billion people is a pretty good chunk of people that have the wealth. We're not talking about, these people make more than countries do in a year off the kleptocracy. They never could have done this any other way other than what they were orchestrating prior to the pandemic. The pandemic just increased everything. They seen their window, and they demanded money to keep people from falling into financial ruin, and they stole it all. They stole it. We're still going to have to pay the piper. Or eventually, this is all going to crash. It can't continue. So that's the case. That's what I wanted to bring up today. Max Keiser is an awesome, really awesome show to watch, Keiser Report. But, it's neither here nor there for us, because we're just the minions. We're the serfs in the valley while the kings are up there eating, expensive foods and going to, like Biden went to, some billionaire's place to spend the weekend. I mean, millions, they don't care. As long as you're in that group, that's all they care about. They care about their group. They don't care about us. They never have. Stop dividing the people. Stop hating each other. They stop this garbage with these movements that are coming out, causing anarchy, and if we don't get this guilty verdict, we're gonna burn this place down. This is just distraction. This is a game to them. It's a complete and utter game, and it is not by accident. I wish people would just see. They got this Ahmaud Arbery killers. These guys are the perfect idiots to put into this. I don't even want to know much about it. They're three morons. They're perfect timing. Missing gun belonging to Brian Laundrie's parents wasn't made public due to the frenzied atmosphere, family attorney says. You guys are just swaying to the symphony of destruction. These stories have all been hyped up by the shills that work for the upper echelons in society that are robbing the future debt wealth of the world. Now we can get into that, where I think that why that money's being taken at such aggressive fashion so fast. Why are they knowing that there's going to be a catastrophic end to all this? Why are they taking so much now so fast? Well, the pandemic was their biggest excuse to write off all their toxic assets. But there's something else in the works. There's something else that's there. They don't do anything by accident. They can hire people to think about everything is going to happen, and they just pick which scenario they want. Nothing they do is by chance. They have think tanks that think for them. The kleptocrats at the top don't. They hire people to do that. experts in fields in every direction. The majority of us couldn't even comprehend the statistics to tell them what to do to make it worse, to make more and more, and then crash it down in the end. Let's meet the robot that can write poetry and create artwork. Do we really want to do that? Meet the robot that can do that. I don't think I really want to meet the robot. Wait, let's see. Ancient Neanderthal skull reveals a case of disease spillover. You still carry Neanderthal DNA, by the way. Well, let's just not worry about that, right? It's just, you're still part Neanderthal, guys. Unless you're African. Africans don't carry as much Neanderthal DNA as the rest of us. Just saying. Beat the spillover disease of the Neanderthals. Let's go to InfoWars, right? Let's see what the circus of InfoWars has to say today. Remember, you can be sued for anything you say. Alex Jones has just been sued for the Sandy Hook disaster. Let's see what's going on here. What are they willing to post without getting in trouble? It begins. New York Governor Hochul declares state of emergency over Omicron. I think it spells moron. I don't know. A variant. If you do mess it up, should say moron. But there's an I in there. Yeah. That's got to spell. Somebody mentioned that to me earlier that Omicron spells moron. I basically would call it a transformer. Omicron. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. These people are doing. Omicron now transforms. That's our transformer for the year. Omicron. You can't make this stuff up. We could. They could. They got all the stupidity, the names. Hochul declares state of emergency. Well, there you go. Okay. The Great Distraction. General Flynn predicts globalists would hype new COVID variant to trigger global futures crash. That could be a possibility. That could be the futures. Maybe they're after the futures market because these kleptocrats have made so much money. They're sick. They're vomiting their wealth. They're like, what do we do with it all? Just like Bill Gates' wife. She's like throwing money at militant organizations to fight this and to fight that. Whatever. Oh, let's see. I think I lost this InfoWars. Oh, there we go. Okay. Smoking gun. New variant appears 2 weeks after Big Pharma readies new variant vaccine. Yeah, if you believe that, you can read that on Infowars.com. I really can't get into it because I'll get banned. Tucker, Americans won't forgive Joe Biden for decimating. Oh, they're changed on me. Oh, crap. I missed it. Decimating their standard of living. America, in general, is in complete chaos. Whether or not everybody wants to realize this or not. You can't say things. You can be attacked and beaten in the streets. You can't say things on digital platforms. You can be banned for life. They can kill your avatar for saying the wrong thing. We started with the freedom of speech loss. You could be physically harmed for saying something, anything that was against their narrative. Remember that, guys on the left. It will come full circle. It'll come right back to you. That's how this works. Like Jen Psaki keeps saying, let's circle back. Is that code? First, we're going to circle back the rest of you soon. It's going to hit you guys. Top physician says vaccines will be needed for years to combat Ebola-level strain of COVID. They put that together. I talked about the Ebola outbreak in Africa, how South Africa would feel if Ebola broke out. We'd be locking everything down. They're screaming and crying because they found the variant that grew in their own part of the world, and now they're complaining because their bottom line's going to be hit. Remember, airlines were bailed out, and now they're afraid they're going to lose their bottom line again. But don't worry, Janet Yellen will just print off a bunch of fake fiat currency that you owe for to bail them back out into their private industry. That way you can fly across the world and go, wee! I want to see Bahrain. I want to fly to Namibia. I want to fly to France. I want to go to Germany. Well, I don't care what you want. I really don't. The people in the ICU unit doesn't care either. The heart inflammation, people die of heart attacks because of the spike proteins flowing through their veins, which you look up yourself on the article is posted in my comment section by a great person that follows me. You can read about the inflation, the locking. Okay, well, he didn't put that. He put the locking down of Israel, but I put that right below there. Sorry, I mean, momentary lapse of reason. It's going to happen. I blame COVID, which, by the way, I still have. I can't even. You guys that have had COVID multiple times can follow me on this one. How your health's affected. This isn't just my lungs. Isn't just caused from the asthma. There is something damaged in there, and I know people. COVID attacks gallbladder, spleens. I got all kinds of issues from it. So remember that vaccinated, you're still going to get COVID. Spike proteins are going to cause damage throughout your body. You can read that in the article I posted in the comment section below one of my videos. Okay, top physician says, now who is a top physician? Frank Ulrich, Montgomery, chairman of the Global Physicians Society of World Medical Association, WMA. Now that's who posted this. This is who said this. Now we're going through InfoWars, so I have the disclaimer. This is what's on their site, but they're possibly regurgitating what was on this chairman of the Global Physicians Society of World Medical Association. The comments were made earlier. So a top physician says it will be necessary to keep vaccinating the world for years in order to prevent a COVID strain as deadly as Ebola from developing. This is the 12 monkeys virus. I said it at the beginning. I actually purchased 12monkeysvirus.com. This will, in the end, if it goes the direction it's going, or possibly could go, will be the virus that infects the environment, and you can't survive in it naturally. How is global markets going to work then? Because it's outpacing everything. It's outpacing the tweaking of the shot, the jab. It's outpacing the human immune system. If this new variant, Omicron, and the Transformers, if it comes in and it does do that, then you know why the wealth of the world's being taken. You know why frivolous printing has been happening without the worries of the recourse of the future. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is somebody knows something. And it isn't Fauci, or Fauci's complicit, but somebody knows the end game of this virus. Did we ever put that through our brain? Yes, it did. It went through my head. I called it the 12 monkeys virus from the very beginning. I've said that since it started. I had just a vision of this being the 12 monkeys virus. And I said, it's because Xi Jinping was talking about it being in the water system and affecting animals. He called it the demon. He immediately said this is a demon. I don't think China did this, personally. I do not. I think there's forces at work that are not governments either. I think there is evil forces on this planet. Very, very wealthy evil forces. That's my take. So they're saying that my great concern, same as I am, is that there could be a variant that is as infectious as Delta and as dangerous as Ebola, he told the newspaper of the Funk Media Group. According to Montgomery, it will be necessary to vaccinate the world for years to come. The physician also called for draconian lockdown measures to be reintroduced to stop Germany's current COVID wave. We should therefore close Christmas markets nationwide, he said. There is no point in banning the Christmas markets in one region if the people then go to another region where they still are open. There's no reason for people to be traveling from South Africa since November 9th. Let's just put that in perspective. There's no reason not to be contact tracing all those that have traveled to South Africa, the hot spot, to be hunted down like as if it was Ebola now. But that's not to say there's going to be another variant. Now, if everybody's thinking there's going to be another variant, the echelons of the COVID crack teams that Biden has assembled, the world assembled, if they sit back and say, well, you're basically fighting an uphill battle, it's not going to make a difference because this thing's going to keep mutating until it becomes an ELE event. If that's the case, the world should know. We should demand the answers from these people. But the problem is there's nobody in media that is non-biased. You have to have non-biased reporting with power behind them that will dig. And anybody that does gets attacked. Anyway, let's see. I gotta go. I'm starting to tickle my throat. You guys, thanks for watching. This is today's broadcast recorded tonight for tomorrow. You guys have a great week. I'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow again. Thanks for watching.